Hello, everybody. Buddy Wade, Midland, Texas. This morning I did a video showing you the pry marks on the door, proof that a burglar had got trapped on the day of the murder attempt. But then on my Facebook, I followed that up with who let the burglar out. Now, remember, I tie-wired the door. The burglar couldn't have got out by themselves. And that's why the pry marks are on top of the door. Well, I'm going to show you a timeline of events that happened, and it's going to have a lot of information in it right here. I drew this up right here, and I said Saturday, January 28, 2012. Pry marks found above the bathroom door showed that I'd trapped a burglar in my bathroom, but I didn't know it at the time. Burglar alarms were going off over and over. And that's documented by the nurses' logs. And but I didn't go up in the attic and look. I think they wanted me to so they could sneak in the trap door and and release the burglar. But I wasn't going to chase the alarm. They decided to cut my phone lines and shoot me with plans for the Midland Police Department to cover up my murder and call it an accident. Okay, and so I'm showing you some of the timestamps that I have for it. At 8:07 p.m. that night was the last picture of me before from my bedroom camera, and I had my shotgun. I had the burglar alarms going off over and over. 8:07. 8:08 p.m., the bedroom camera is terminated and I didn't do it. That's on the log files. And I believe this was the same time that they stole my cell phone and disconnected my home phone lines in preparation to murder me. Okay. At 10:42 p.m., I'm seen crawling out. And then when I am, you'll see the lights go off in my car. Somebody was sitting in my car, and I think it was probably a neighbor. We're going to see that. I'll talk about that in a minute. Woodward and Naylor are seen arriving at 11:01, 19 minutes after I'm shot. Here's a Martin County sheriff and a Midland County deputy arriving. Neither one of them dispatched. Took 6 years to get them identified. Okay, Naylor's now dead. 11:03 p.m. Matt Davis, Sergeant Matt Davis, is at my home. He's not seen arriving. So it may be Davis let out the criminal in the bathroom, the burglar. Okay. Also at 11:03 p.m., April Chandler was filling out that form I showed you this morning, claimed that due to paranoia, I caused myself to be shot with a shotgun. I caused, somebody to break in my home and shoot me. That's what she's saying. 11:05, Lieutenant Dickey is inside my home. Okay, this is, like I said, this is just 4 minutes after Woodward or Naylor is seen out front, right? Minutes after I'm shot, he's in my home. He wasn't seen arriving. He came from under my home. We're going to look at the tunnel entrance I believe he came from. Also, Greg Chatwell was here. Kenny Angel was here. These are police officers. 11:18, 11:18, 11:19. Dylan Hale's at my home. This is all timestamp from the police report. And 11:22, my security cameras are disabled. Let me show you this evidence here. Okay, these are the pry marks on the top of my bedroom door jamb I showed you this morning, and that's how I figured out after I got back that a burglar had been trapped in there. Okay, from the nurse's notes at the hospital, I was saying the sirens going off, and they were over and over. The alarms kept going off, and I think they were wanting me to go up there and chase the alarm, and that way they could sneak in and let the trapped burglar out. It was recorded on a voice recorder and all that. I talked about that this morning. Okay, on that video. At 8:07 p.m., the last picture of me, I had a shotgun. Okay, I'm not really a gun guy. I wouldn't be walking around with a gun. I had burglar alarms going off in the attic. Super, super spooky at my house at the time. I'm telling you, okay. The log file for the camera, the bedroom camera, shows it was terminated at 8:08 p.m., a minute after I was seen with my shotgun. Okay. Here, this is a room where I shot from, my tiny utility room, and the evidence shows that I was shot from under this cabinet. This cabinet was missing the door, shelf missing, the kick guard on the bottom was missing right here. I believe this was a trapdoor entrance the ex-wife told me about, and I know that's where I shot from. Okay, how do I know that's where I shot from? Is because I was shot from 2 inches above ground level, and I wasn't shot with my gun. And I know I shot right in front of this cabinet. There wasn't enough room for a shotgun. That's why I believe I shot with a 45 handgun. I just did a video on that. Now I'm going to show you crawling out at 10:42 p.m. They had already prepared to murder me. Here we go. Okay, there I am crawling out. Watch the headlights on my car. Oh, they went off. Did you see it? Here, you want to see it again? Let's do it again. Okay. Okay, I'm crawling out. The reason I crawled out is because I didn't have no communication. My headlights went off. I screamed for help, and I think they were waiting in my car. But since there wasn't no other cars in my small cul-de-sac, I believe it was probably a neighbor. Okay, and maybe this neighbor here that I believe had the tunnel entrance in my backyard, in his backyard. And in my backyard's where the underground home is, and that's that's a suspected tunnel entrance, but I believe that was a tunnel entrance that was put in there. The Google Earth maps, if you ever go to them, you can see where it wasn't there in March 08. It was put in right here, or right in the backyard, and that's after Mike is believed to be murdered here, and I moved in, bought this house. Okay, and then here it is still there in 2014. I'd shot in 2012, and then it got removed after I started posting pictures of it on social media. Okay, and this was the neighbor that lives over there, the extremely rude neighbor. You don't want me in my own backyard? What are you saying? My blood pressure medicine? My blood pressure medicine? Huh? See how rude this neighbor is? Here, I'm crippled for life in a home invasion and premeditated murder, and I suspect he had a tunnel. So maybe it was somebody from that house that was hiding in my car, waiting to release the trap burglar, after a shot, and maybe even questions on the last one. Okay, so 19 minutes later is when the first two police show up. Let's show you here. There they are on the camera, okay? Got the spotlight on there looking for me. They wasn't dispatched. Their name is illegally omitted from the police report. First one was a Martin County Sheriff, John Woodward, and this is Midland County. The second one was the late Midland Sheriff Deputy Matt Davis. And so, how did they know to come to my house, right? They're looking for me right there. And obviously they were under my home when I shot, okay? So it's time-stamped at 11:01 right here. Woodward and Naylor seen arriving. Okay. Now here the police report that was illegally withheld for 7 years. That's where the timestamps come in, and it was showing here Matt Davis on scene 11:03, not seen arriving. Dickie is inside my home at 11:05, not seen arriving. Now keep in mind 11:03. That's 2 minutes after Woodward and Naylor were seen. Okay. But how did they get in my house? Like here it is on Lieutenant Dickey. No one in the house except inside, and lots of odd things like booby trap, which there wasn't none. That was another lie. But it put him inside my house, and he wasn't seen arriving like Woodward and Naylor. That's how I knew they come from under my house. Okay, and also here, let me show you. Matt Davis here was here at the first one at my house at 11:03 and not seen arriving. He's the one that wrote me on YouTube and says, I stole the evidence and nobody will ever find out, buddy. That's a Midland police officer, former. He quit in 2013. He quit the police department, but he was bragging about stealing evidence. Okay, here's Dickie. That's a picture of Dickie right here. He was the one inside my house 11:05, wasn't seen arriving. So that proved they came from under my house. Okay, and I already showed you where the cabinet was. That was the trapdoor entrance and all that. I believe Dickie and Davis, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale, they came from the what I call the Home Depot tunnel. I found it on Google Earth Maps. I recently did a video about that. Underground homes in the backyard, and that's how they got to my home without being seen, was that tunnel right here. Also at 11:03, and right here was a Chandler that was emergency detention for. Mr. Webb showed paranoia to the extent that he shot. Oh wait, she scribbled that out and changed it to he caused himself to suffer a gunshot wound, meaning that I trapped a burglar, so we had to break in his house, try to murder him. Okay, and so then also Chatwell, Angel, Hale was at my home, not seen arriving, coming from the underground home. And then 11:22, they disabled my cameras. Now they turn the camera to look at the house. Now anybody can come and go from my house while they cover up a premeditated capital attempted murder. That's what's going on here in Midland, Texas, and nothing has ever changed. Buddy Webb, Midland.